Hello everybody, Stuffing Ram here from Rand Nerds. Welcome to my review of Doctor Who Specials 2023, The Giggle. There may be some minor spoilers ahead, so if you don't have anything spoiled, please turn off now. So this episode sees the return of the Toymaker, also originally known as the Celestial Toymaker, character who appeared back within William Hartnell era, in an episode series that's mostly disappeared. I think there's like one episode less of the season left. It's appeared in a few other offshoot books and audio plays and so forth over the years, but not in the main canon of the TV series, as it were. It's a character that actually has a lot of promise and stuff. It's like this outer way being. It's a god level being that I'm surprised never returned more than the main TV series. So it's really interesting to see him return now, and it's really well done. Played by Neil Patrick Harris, who does a phenomenal job of acting out the Toymaker. Toymaker is basically causing mass issues on planet Earth by making everybody feel that they're in the right all the time, causing mass carnage. Very playing off how society seems now, that everybody's just incredibly opinionated and so forth. But if you follow the internet, it's what appears to be the case. Probably not so true in real life as it was, but very much heading that direction. The episode is a real masterly running along, really fun little episode. So many fun scenes, and it's one of Russell T Davies when he does more fun stuff. Celestial Toymaker makes me think a lot of John Simm's The Master, and how playful he is and so forth, and some of the angles he get up to, and some sort of creepiness that he does. We learn very early on how powerful he is, to get an idea of how powerful he is very early on in his shop, when we encounter some people who he's dealt with before, and how scared the Doctor is of him. It's a real fun episode. The ending, Ross came out and said that the ending's going to be maybe a bit controversial. I don't think it's as controversial as he thinks it's going to be. The ending, I don't spoil the ending, obviously, but it was not what I was expecting to happen. I think there were some rumours going around what was going to happen, but this is not what I was expecting it to be like. And it's definitely a nice send-off to David Tennant as a Doctor. I'll say that much. And Ncuti Gatwa comes in, and we get to see a bit what his Doctor's going to be like. And from what I've seen so far, I think it's going to be a real fun Doctor, and I quite like what I see. So good in that regards. The episode, feels like a nice finish off of the trilogy and so forth. And there's a little cliffhanger at the end left on there, so we can say some more's coming up. It sees a return of Unit as well. Unit really should have a spin-off series. They could do series, a bit like a Stargate SG-1 style series of Unit being more of I think they could do that, like a proper series, sub-series to it. It'd be really good seeing Unit dealing with stuff when the Doctor's not around. Because unfortunately, they do tend to just be cannon fodder in Doctor Who episodes. They're just an excuse to have loads of soldiers getting killed. How that Unit's always appeared. But back to us in John Pertwee era, when Unit was around seal to seal. It's quite an interesting dynamic stuff and worked really, and I've always enjoyed those series back then. So I think we're going to have a little Unit offshoot. But back to the episode, very fun, very typical Rusty Davis style episode. Plenty of humour is villain, and it's just very well crafted throughout, so forth. Some issues with production that I'll get onto in a moment, but overall, I did really enjoy this episode. I thought it was pretty darn good. Subduction, not a lot of CGI in this episode. There was some, and this is something that pays fair shot on, there's some puppety CGI that comes out later, which it's hit and miss. It works when they're very stationary. When they move a bit, it falls apart a little bit. You can tell where the join of the CGI to non-CGI bit happens. So that didn't work quite so well, but I think it's a real hard thing to get right, and they did a valiant effort, but just didn't quite pull it off. So most of the other CGI is fairly basic. There's nothing dramatic going on there. Obviously, you've got the regeneration itself, which has a very interesting conclusion, and was done fairly standard regeneration style, but with a little bit of a twist at the end. Production-wise, I thought, fairly decent episode. It looked pretty darn good. Nice little episode. So cast and crew. So like I say, this is the end of, is it the end of David Tennant as a Doctor? They've left that a little bit open-ended and so forth. So it's nice to see, obviously, Doctor and John are back, and it feels like you're watching Classic Who again. I think it was a good idea to bring them both back to reintroduce bring back around, almost like a reset to other fans to go for, because Doctor and Donna really worked well against them. They bounced off as characters really well, because Donna looked up to Dr. Morsum as an equal rather than wasn't in awe of him all the time. She'll happily go off and do her own thing. Coverdale did a really good job of Donna. Really sort of emphasised, proved that she can do some decent acting. And obviously, David Tennant, still one of the best of the modern Doctors. I think most people consider him the best of the modern Doctors. I quite liked him, Capaldi and Matt Smith. I'm sort of like torn between all three. I really liked Capaldi's Doctor when he got the decent episodes. He took a more darker tone. But David Tennant was definitely sort of my sort of high level tiers of favourite modern Doctor actors. We also see Bonnie Langford returning, reprising the role of Mel, Sylvester McCoy companion. Well, actually, Colin Baker type. Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy companion. Left doing the Dragonfire serial and went off sort of exploring the galaxy, returned back to Earth. Give an explanation of how she got back to Earth as well. I think it's going to be a sort of thing by the looks of it now. We're going to start drawing up old companions, and once they're still around, and bring them back for these little special stuff so we can get sort of idea and sort of see what they've been up to in the meantime, which is nice. Sort of like tie back to all the earlier Doctor Who canon. It's quite nice to sort of pull that back in and see who stood around and so forth. They've also done it in the past. We had Sarah Jane Smith, another David Tennant sort of pull back, and we also had Tegan, and who else came? Was it Nissa came back last year? I can't remember now. They both come back last year. I forgot now. It's terrible. But nice to see what. I quite like seeing sort of some of the characters being brought back. Sadly, when he got a little bit of Bernard Cribbins as Wilf in this episode, unfortunately, obviously, he passed away. I was actually quite surprised to see him at all. It was nice that he managed to get some filming done with him, but obviously it's sad to see we could have seen more of him. It's a shame that he's not around so much as we could have done. So he's only appears, literally just says a few lines and appears briefly at the end of the last episode, sort of briefly, and I think very briefly in this one. So shame to see him gone, but happens. Of course, I can't not mention Neil Patrick Harris as the Special Toymaker. Absolutely doing a perfect job, hamming up as brilliantly. As I said, it makes me think of Johnson's as the Master. And of course, we can't get past Ncuti Gatwa as the new Doctor appearing. Like I say, I like the style, I like what he's doing. I think it's going to be interesting, a fun series coming up, and we'll see how he fully shows off in Christmas special in a couple of weeks' time. So final thoughts. Yep, really actually enjoy this episode. I don't feel it's controversial. I see how people are going to be upset by it, because people get upset by everything so easily these days. I can see how people are going to get upset with this episode. I thought actually it was pretty darn decent. I didn't see anything particularly majorly controversial. I mean, Doctor Who's canon has been constantly twisted and turned and ripped apart and shredded and so forth. Criticising Doctor Who for not maintaining the canon is really... The episodes contradict themselves so many times over this decades, because there's been so many showrunners, so many stories. Keeping a consistent Doctor Who canon is basically impossible now. So you just all have to sort of just roll with it a little bit. But yeah, I am looking forward to seeing what comes through each series. I did really enjoy this episode, and it's nice to see Doctor Who sort of coming back to more of its form again. Very nice to see. So thank you very much for watching this little review. If you've enjoyed it, please consider liking and possibly subscribing to the channel. You can check out reviews of previous series on here. You can also check out some of the other stuff we do on here. We have like podcasts. Our most recent one was broadcast last Wednesday. Check out that live stream, and there'll be more every fortnight on a Thursday going forward. You can also check out our games night videos. They'll be coming on some sort of like usually every Monday. We've got some special ones coming on over Christmas as well. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I can't look forward to seeing you and talking to you on Christmas Day. So until then, see you later.